Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thank you for bearing with us while we went ahead and took our quick break. I hope everybody is having as much fun tonight as I am, if not more. Um, Tonight, our heroes so far have graciously left the party at the preserver mixer at Quasar's Industry after poor Ogris was struck down by Zoth and taken to the taken to the hospital by Gruck and Valerius Cornu, who that's going to be a fun conversation, I'm sure. At the party, Aelin overheard Zoth talking to some Farsighter commandos, telling them, do not return without the Moonstone. So Aelin gathered the gang. They all tracked these Farsighter commandos into the Green Well, where they found them under attack by a number of strange robots that seemed to be made out of some kind of mirror material. The mirror droids pixelated a couple of the far side commandos, and our heroes managed to vanquish one of them, causing the other one to burst into tears and flee the scene. We rejoin our heroes as they have 3 far side commandos at their mercy, and they are still standing on that sort of stretch of cyberpunk neighborhood. Over to you, heroes.
Aelin will dust herself off a little bit and look at the far side commando who has taken shelter behind Chimera, and she'll put her hands on her hips and say, "This area is off limits. What exactly are you doing back here?"
What exactly are you doing back here?
What?
She asked you a question.
You thought the Aegis guards you slipped by were the only ones positioned here?
Give me a deception check.
Would he be attracted to me?
Yes.
Okay, add 5. I'll re-roll that. I want to make this work real well. Okay, it's a 33.
Well, la-di-da, I can't roll higher than that. I'm just a guy, man. He says, well, we're here on official business for the engineering guild to probe this area to begin proper excavation.
Insight?
Yeah, do I need to make an insight check for this?
Press X to doubt. You can give me an insight check.
All right. 28.
Yeah, he's full of shit.
No official records were submitted to the Senate for such an endeavor. We think you will have to try harder to get out of this.
We are on a secret mission for Zothrok.
Are you willing to submit that as testimony?
We are willing to submit it as part of our diplomatic immunity conversation.
Are you sure you have diplomatic immunity and it is not just Zoth who holds such power?
The whole delegation does. Right, guys? He looks at the other two.
And who was the one that told you that?
I use aid other by laughing.
Aelin is going to kind of get down, because I'm assuming he had gotten down on like a knee to take cover behind Chimera, and she'll put out her hand and she'll kind of run one of her claws along his chin, as she like cups or puts the finger underneath his chin and kind of pulls his eyes up to look at hers, and she'll just smile. You are expendable. That's why he sent you.
Yeah. And he kind of looks at the other two, and they sort of agree. You and I both know, Chip, that if Zoth found out we got caught, he'd disavow us. And Chip sort of looks fine. Okay, we're looking for a priceless artifact that belongs to Lady Lunar.
Where is it?
Our intelligence led us to believe that it was in this part of the Greenwell, an area known as the Mirror Zone.
Something is obviously here, if it's protected as well as it is.
And that was our reasoning too. But we didn't expect to run into such stiff opposition this close to the city.
Aelin looks down and then looks up at him and gives him a wink.
Think clean thoughts, Chip.
Will you show us where you were supposed to be taking your robot friend?
His surface thoughts are just, she said stiff. Be cool. Be cool. Don't blush. Don't blush. Don't blush. You are not an anime schoolgirl.
Wow.
Yeah, I can show you where we were supposed to begin excavation. Maybe. This area was not on our map. At least nothing this nice, and he kind of gestures around to the neon lights in the finished buildings.
Well, you may take us there. And she'll look at Flynn and the rest of the group. And then we think you have a decision to make.
One of the other guards crosses his arms. Yeah, what's that?
Well, you have several things to consider. If it is not here, you cannot return, right?
That's what he said.
And what does that mean for you and you? And she looks back down at Chip and boops his nose. And you?
They sort of look at each other, and it means Zoth is going to kill us, or you guys are going to kill us.
She puts the hand on her chest. Why ever would we do such a thing?
Alara, give me a perception check.
Perception. Ooh, that's not groovy.
Groovy.
Spend a luck point on this. It feels important. Boo earns, but 23, I guess.
You hear him think, because we've seen the missing royals, and there's no way they're going to let us go without murdering us.
Alara will narrow her eyes at him, not being very subtle about the fact that she heard that.
And Chip says, I don't know if you know who you're traveling with, but it would be in their best interest for us not to make it back alive.
Well,
He's
if
not
you
wrong.
know who we are, then maybe you should make a decision on which side of this war you'd like to be on.
War? Sort of, the three of them kind of look at each other.
Eventually, I'm imagining there'll be a war.
Yes. For your home, the one that's been taken over by a usurper who stole the throne.
From the rightful heirs, who I'm assuming you know who they are.
You saying the two of you are planning to come back to the moon and overthrow your aunt?
That's not what I said. But she'll smirk.
That's what it sounded like you said. The three of them kind of look at each other.
Don't go getting any ideas, Chip. You can see all of them.
Look,
Now tell me, do you enjoy serving our aunt?
the three of us were conscripted as children. We don't know anything else.
Well, that's horrible. That didn't used to happen, you know.
Some of the older veterans mentioned that it didn't used to happen, but it sounded like propaganda.
People used to volunteer to serve our family. Imagine not much of that happens these days.
The three of them sort of look at each other and they say, well, would you be looking for volunteers now?
Maybe.
In exchange for not blowing up our brains?
I don't want you to choose between us and death. I want you to choose us because it's the right decision.
Your sister's very scary.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Yes.
That's not reassuring.
I'm just irritated right now. You haven't seen me angry yet.
Well, we're not happy with the situation back home. And we would rather not die here in the middle of nowhere, millions of miles away from home.
You have a family back.
No.
Perfect.
It's
I
forbidden.
can't kill anyone for you going missing then.
Let's start with the stone first, then we'll see how things end up.
And all three of them will.
Very excited.
All three of them will sort of give like a low bow, as you wish, Your Highnesses.
Oh, please don't do that.
For the briefest moment, Alara's chin turns just slightly upwards and she has a bit of a smile on her face. And then she says, yes, enough of that. Let's get to work before more of those things show up.
Ursa will turn to the crew and be like, well, if you hadn't figured it out already, then I suppose you know now.
Mental note, mental note, mental note, mental note. What the hell have I got myself into?
Yes, we will have to fully discuss this matter later, once we're out of the, whatever this is.
Yeah.
Danger
We
zone?
will obviously not hold you to any commitments.
The danger zone.
Aelin will put a hand down for Chip to help him up.
He will eagerly take it.
And she'll pull him to her feet. She'll look back at Alara and Ursa and go, well done, Your Majesties.
Oh, you start.
Ursa will take a big bow.
No! Don't encourage her.
But it's so fun.
And they will introduce themselves. They'll say, I'm Chip, as you know. This is Dirk and Kavan.
Where are the apostrophes in those names?
Dirk does not have an apostrophe. Kavan has an apostrophe between the A and the V.
Dirk is lying.
Dirk is lying.
Sure, there's an apostrophe after Dirk. I think short Dirk is just a shortened version of his name.
Yes.
Dirk apostrophe something.
Dirkhan.
The apostrophe is silent.
All apostrophes are silent. Well, she'll look at everyone in the group now, and kind of raise her hands. Shall we, before more of them show up?
Yes.
Looks at the hole in my cape. Yes.
Sorry, Captain.
Laura, what do you make of the creature?
You're referring to the mirror droid, right?
Yep.
Would Alara know anything about this preserver-wise, if this is a preserver thing?
Give me an expertise preservers check. We'll see.
I shall roll that for you. Oof. God, is this worth a hero point? Fine. I've used it on lesser things. Oh, wait. Does 10 go to 20?
10 goes to 20.
Baller. 27.
27. So with a
Nice.
27, that's the best you can roll. You've heard mentionings of the preservers animating glass, generally to act almost as holographic advisors. You haven't heard of them turning them into sentry bots, but it's not abnormal for the preservers to make a dangerous version of something else that they've made.
Should have brought Watson.
That wouldn't have stirred a huge kerfuffle at the preserver mixer.
Yeah.
Look what we found.
So yeah, she will, make that known. I don't know if Alara would be aware of any weakness or flaw to that technology. If she's only aware of it as a animated glass image.
You suspect that they would have similar weaknesses to glass.
Sonics.
Oh,
Gotta go fast.
Bricks.
Stones. Churches.
Churches.
Oh, wait.
Alara will say though, I'm not sure how much help I can be against creatures like this, but I can at least keep us in communication silently. If you're
We know more now than we did previously. And we appreciate you asking this time.
Yes. My apologies again.
Dirk will head over and pull the identification tags off of the 3 commandos who were here, and he'll grab a laser carbine for you, Alara, and offer it to you.
She will take it and pretend. I mean, I'm sure she has basic weapon training, so.
You have a dexterity's amount of weapons training.
Oh, well then. She will, she won't drop it at least.
And he'll sort of gesture, he'll say, just point it towards what you want to disappear and pull the trigger.
Yes, I know how these work, but thank you. Now then, with your map, perhaps we can get moving.
They look at the destroyed robot.
What was the robot for?
It was for punching holes through things, but it also had our navigation computer.
Chimera?
Oh.
Do you think it's still salvageable?
I believe so.
I heard aliens.
Chimera was dialing up there for a moment.
I was.
Chimera connecting to the internet via 1999.
Oh, that's his dial.
Every now and
There,
then,
you
Chimera just opens his mouth and a noise comes out.
You wanted to know last week what he looking for from Earth? It's that. It's the dial-up tone.
Oh, man. Awesome. Chimera, give me a technology check.
Technology. I shrank back down to normal size after the kerfuffle was over. 27.
Are you upset because it's not a 22?
No.
With a 27, you think you are able to salvage the computer. You're not able to salvage the robot, but you think you could probably plug it into something.
Okay. So I will share that. The computer is salvageable. The robot, unfortunately, is not.
We just need the data, right?
Sometimes being able to see the inner workings of the robot might give insight into certain functions, but if the data is all we need, then that should be sufficient.
Do we have a way to...
Don't tell Watson.
Do we have a way to read the data?
Do any of you have a gauntlet computer or anything?
We should be able to access it with the ship's computer if there are no other alternatives.
That's back on the ship.
That would require us to leave the area.
I'm not familiar with this area. Perhaps.
Are there any
one of you is
terminals?
more familiar?
Do we see any terminals around here? Can we maybe cobble some parts out of the mirror robot that just blew up?
Sure. I will let you all decide. Do you want to give me a hero point to have a terminal, or do you want there to be a terminal and it's mine?
That sounds...
Doesn't it?
Yes, that sounds ominous.
So curious about it, though.
All the options sound sus.
If I spend a hero point to give you a terminal, would that be more or less sus?
That's more sus.
Way
You know
Yeah,
that.
much more sus.
Isn't that table point still there? Or did someone...
That table point is still there. From Starslayer.
If we want to use that, that's fine.
I think we should use that to have a nearby terminal where we can access.
Okay.
Repurpose, necessary.
Alright. Well, you are able to spend that point, and sure enough, looking around at a number of the different shops, you do see there is a terminal close by that still has some juice in it.
As it boots up, we hear, "I'm Commander Shepard. This is my favorite favorite shop on the Citadel."
Wow.
Calvin laughed. That's all that matters.
Yeah, because I just started...
Good enough.
I just started playing that game.
That's a great game. But yeah, you're able to find that terminal. You're able to plug the hard drive from the robot into it and start uploading some of the data. You do find that it makes sort of a spatial map of the area, but it's a little strange reading it. Does anybody have like expertise math or expertise astrogation or navigation or anything like that?
I only have expertise engineering.
I'd say engineering will work.
Okay. In that case, allow me then to roll. $19.
Are you happy with a 19?
Not particularly. Alright, let me spend this dadgum hero point here and try that again. We got a 20.
Hey, 20 is better than 19.
It is.
So Chimera, you start examining the terminal, and with your strange bioengineered brain, you're able to sort of get a sense of how this map works. It looks like the map is almost like 5 locations that have been fed through a prism on top of each other. So it's almost like a 25-axis map of space and mostly spatial geometry. There's a lot of areas where things sort of move prismatically. It looks like a lot of this area is very treacherous to traverse because of the various reflections and a number of portals that are able to be opened if you're not careful.
Any indication as to how the portals are activated?
It seems that they're always functioning.
So merely crossing the plane, as it will.
Mm-hmm. And
Right,
you think you could lead the group into the center of this area, which seems to be where a lot of where the mirrors kind of converge, is in this space that shouldn't exist on the surface. You don't know if it's a subsurface structure. It could possibly be even a floating structure that's impossible to see through the prism.
I will relay that to everyone else and offer to guide them into the central area.
Well, our home seems to be getting stranger and stranger the more we explore. But lead on, Chimera, and good job.
I will gather up the group and navigate towards the center.
Excellent. So Chimera, with you leading the way, you're able to pass through a bunch of different cityscapes. You see the sort of cyberpunk cityscape that you're standing in now. But as you guys are going through these sort of twisting roadways and hallways, occasionally you'll look and you'll see like 4 or 5 different vistas all superimposed on top of one another, almost looking at 4 different worlds at the same time, with various different technological advances, various organic creatures running around. You see a primeval jungle. You see what looks like a medieval castle. You see the cyberpunk city, and sort of the cold, desolate waste of Europa by itself. As you're making your way through these various different twisting corridors and things, Chimera, eventually you lead everybody into this central area, which looks like it's a sort of a spiral staircase made of reflecting glass that leads up the middle of this rotating kaleidoscope of the 5 or 6 different worlds all smashed on top of each other. And when you get to the top, you find a glass pyramid with a opening in the front of it. The pyramid extends upwards into the sky, almost brushing the dome that Starhaven is contained within.
We look around and see if there's a computer which we can access, or a terminal which we can access the computer that we've retrieved.
There is no terminal on the outside of the pyramid.
Okay, sorry. I assume. So the only way forward seems to be ascending the spiral staircase.
Yes. Yep.
And I don't get a sense that the staircase themselves are portals.
No. Nope. At least not going up. You think they might be going down.
Well, I will, before starting up the stairs, I will apprise them of that assumption on my part.
Have I seen anything like this in my studies of preserver history and technology?
Give me
This feels a little.
Give me a preserver check.
Feels super out there. Preserver. I'll have to take this one. 17.
With a 17, you've not heard of anything like this in your preserver studies. This is very much out there.
Aelin will nudge Alara. We can potentially explain this place to Watson.
Yes, he might have some. He might have some insight that we don't.
Cut to a panel of Watson like, I really hope they're not going anywhere preservers live. That'd be really dangerous and dumb.
Sure hope they're not in the bad pyramid.
Well, the only way to move forward is to keep climbing.
I would agree.
Excellent. Are you guys going up the stairs first, or are you going to send the soldiers up first?
Sending the soldiers first seems like the same thing Zoth would do, so I think we will go up first.
Ursa will go. She can fly if they fall or something like that.
Awesome.
She can float.
Float.
Fly? I don't really know what she can do, but I know that she can levitate.
She can throw herself quickly. just yeet yourself.
I won't let them know that I can fly, though, so that this looks much braver.
All right, so Ursa, you make your way up first. Who's going after Ursa?
Well, actually, I should probably lead first. She said she's flying, but like, just making sure.
I'll be close so I can catch you.
That we're sort of watching our step going up the spiral staircase. Trying to keep an eye out for any portal shenanigans.
Awesome.
Then Alara will, I guess, stick by her sister in that case.
Then the soldiers, or then Aelin or Flynn?
I think the soldiers should head up, and Aelin and Flynn can take up the final procession.
Excellent. So you all ascend up the staircase again, that sort of trippy kaleidoscope of settings. As you come to the top, it looks like the field that the pyramid is sitting on is made of pure glass as well. Sort of that strange glittering glass that the droids appeared to be made out of. And Ursa, as you reach the summit of the staircase, the opening in the pyramid, a door begins to descend into the ground. It looks like it's opening itself up for you.
Oh. Invitation.
Let's not be rude.
I'll keep walking, I guess. Hopefully not die.
Chimera, as you're looking at the mathematical calculations you've made, do you think that this space is outside of the weird prismatic portal effect?
Okay. We should be safe from any portals here.
That is very good to know. Though we don't know what's inside. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Okay, so continuing.
Excellent. So making your way across the glass plateau that leads up to the pyramid, you do see the doorway is about 15 feet tall. There's plenty of space for all of you to enter in. In the space beyond, there are these sort of free-floating glass lanterns that are shining this green light throughout the space. Almost like rupees from The Legend of Zelda, these sort of gemstone-esque lanterns that are flying on their own. And there's a statue in this entryway. The statue appears to depict 3 preservers. One of them has his hand raised, and you see a free-floating blue orb floating above its hand. You see the other one appears to be knelt down with an orb in between 2 of its hands that looks like it's a sort of dark purple. And there's an orb, there's a female preserver next to them who has this much smaller gray orb floating above her hand. And behind them is sort of a dazzling sunburst.
Is there any specific preserver mythology tied to this?
Give me a preserver check.
You got it. Should probably make this higher. Should really make this higher. 16.
With a 16, you're not sure about any preserver mythology related to it, but you think this could be representations of the Sol system of Earth, Europa, and Luna. There are also 2 doorways behind the statue that lead deeper into the pyramid. And the side walls, both of them are mirrored, so it looks like there is an infinite number of you going offward into eternity on either side of you.
Well, we don't think this is creepy at all. Aelin kind of takes her hands and reaches across to grab both of her arms and kind of pulls herself in a little bit tighter.
Yeah, it just feels so strange and empty. How could the stone end up here?
How could anything end up here, really?
We should keep moving.
Everybody give me a perception check as well.
$17. And the with the hearing
Where
accurate
am I?
times 10.
Where are my 22s at? 14.
You used them all.
I did use them all, apparently.
I got an 18. So there's a whole bunch of 18s and 17s.
Awesome.
I got a 15.
Well, everybody got an 18 or higher. I
Hey.
think it's Flynn and Ursa.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
You notice that this space, there is a thin layer of dust on a lot of it. However, there are some boot prints that have stood in front of this statue recently in the dust and made their way to the door on the right.
Well, I suppose we should follow those, and she'll point to the boot prints.
Oh. Someone's beat us here.
Well, if they're looking for the stone, we have to stop them.
Yes, let's hope we're not too late.
Alara will quicken her pace.
Awesome. Are you all heading through the door on the right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's a good call.
Cool.
Cool.
You notice as you guys are making your way towards the door on the right, each of you opens the door, and as you head in, you appear this sort of never-ending cascade of mirrors on either side of you continues in this small hallway, and each of you find yourselves in a hallway independent of the others.
Curious.
You can see all of your reflections, so you can see all of each other, but each of you appears to be in a glass corridor of your own.
So much for portal
Is the door
shenanigans.
still behind us?
There is no door behind you at this point either. And Aelin, again, with your keen hearing, you hear Hansha. One more time.
Hansha. Alara, does that word mean anything to you? Hansha.
Alara will think real hard. And probably make a preserver's check if it's preserver's related.
That is preserver related.
Finally.
There it is.
Big brain
Good.
moment. 27 with 8 crits.
You have heard of the AI Hansha before. Hansha was said to be an AI that was created by the preservers to protect some of their most delicate secrets. It's a preserver word that means reflection.
Hansha, the word means reflection, but it's also an AI the preservers created to protect their secrets. Perhaps it's in here?
You also know that Hansha has a predilection for showing people in reflections things that are, things that were, and things that may yet come to pass.
Ooh. So yeah, she'll communicate that as well.
Aelin will put a hand out and kind of touch the glass around her, subtly seeing in her own eye like her sister's varying different facial expressions, and she'll kind of shake her head and look beyond her own reflection at the others. We think we should move forward.
That would seem the logical choice.
Just
Am I getting any sense of, like, is this different from the way the other portals as I understood them?
Yes, it does seem to be
Happened.
different. This seems to be not geometrical in shape, this seems to be intentional.
Okay. Perhaps this intelligence that is meant to preserve their secrets is acting to separate us. So be on your guard.
Alex, can I lift the mirrors?
You can try.
I would like to try to lift the mirror. What do you want? Telekinesis?
I would like a telekinesis check.
Never mind, I'm not lifting the mirrors. I got a 10.
So you sort of strain to try and move them, and they don't seem to move under your power. However, everybody else in your hallway, you feel a slight vibration.
Do you all feel that? What
We
was
did.
that?
That might have been me.
Well, be careful. We should move, but maybe we can move forward at the same pace. Try to stay together.
Okay.
We like that plan.
Okay. And then Alara will start walking and try to set the pace for everyone else.
All right. Aelin will fall in step.
Ursa's.
Yeah.
Excellent. Each of you makes it to the end of the hallway where you can see waiting for you is a gray glass door, sort of like a frosted glass.
Okay. Open on 3.
Yes.
Push, pull, lift.
I'm gonna pull first.
It's a push door.
There's
so that's
no obvious.
embarrassing.
There's no handle or anything, right?
It's not necessarily a handle, but it looks like there's a place for your hand to go into to grab something.
Okay. And there's no sign of hinges, so we can determine if the door should be pushed or pulled.
Right.
Can't see the hinges, then perhaps it's a push door. Though it may have special hinges.
And a push door would not require a space for a handhold.
These doors are confusing. Okay, let's all just push first and then pull after. If that doesn't work. And then lift third.
Very
Oh.
good.
Okay.
Push,
And
pull,
then-
lift.
Bop it, I guess.
Twist it.
Flick it.
Wow.
Scream
Wow.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
3.
So each of your hands settles into the space, and as it does, you feel the door sort of grab you back, and the door pulls itself open and pulls you inside.
Oh no. This is not what I did.
And each of you is sort of hurtled into a dark pit, bereft of the
Oh.
others. Alara, you sort of come to first, and you find yourself walking in this sort of cold, desolate space. You can hear your feet crunching in the snow, and you see that you are by yourself, bundled up in winter clothes, alongside Watson, making your way through the snow-swept plains of Europa. There's a desolate mountain in front of you.
Watson, where are we? Where are the others?
The others, Your Majesty?
Really? Well, I guess you know everything now too, don't you?
I'm your trusted companion. Of course I know everything.
Well, Watson, we only just met. As she's maybe slowly putting things together.
I've been keeping your diary for the last 2 cycles.
Is Alara familiar with so she knows that there's an AI here used to preserve her secrets. Is she familiar with that sort of direct mental contact and revealing of information?
Mm-hmm.
Or storage of information? Okay. Then she will say, Watson, could you maybe repeat the last entry or any information on where we're heading now?
Certainly. And he will his head kind of pulls back, and it reveals a holographic camera that'll project your written diary in the air in front of him. And it says, following the destruction of Starhaven, Watson and I are setting off on foot to follow Daedalus' trail, in the hopes of tracking him down and finding the Moonstone. It's our last hope. I will avenge my sister.
Sucks.
Wait, no. No, I thought this was some preserve a memory or some archive of something. Destruction of Starhaven, what of my sister? Is this... Watson, this cannot be correct. What day is it?
It is 2 years from now.
Don't love that.
No. No, this doesn't make sense. This isn't what this is supposed to do. This has to be an illusion of something.
These are things that may yet come to pass, Watson says, and he floats away, sort of enigmatically.
Alara stands shocked for a moment, then turns to try and follow him, trudging through the snow. How? How will this come to pass?
What are you talking about, Your Highness?
How did this... What happened to Starhaven? What happened to my sister?
It was destroyed by the Starcon. She was executed by Zoth Roke, publicly.
And... The rest of the crew? What of them?
You told me to delete any memory of them.
Damn. What? Why did I do that?
You said, and it plays back your voice, I should never have associated with low-down, dirty criminals anyway.
No. I would never. I mean, it's not untrue, but they're not low down. They're not dirty. The last part. No. And Alara's just like trying to process what she's just seen and trying to figure it out. And the Starcon, when did that happen? Was there any warning? Something, we would have some sort of sign, perhaps.
No, it was a complete ambush. It was a surprise.
Do you have a memory of when that happened?
I do not have access to this memory.
What about when my sister was executed? Was that as a result of the Starcon's invasion, or...?
Prior to.
Oh.
And he will play a public recording of Zoth cutting her head off in public.
Is this happening in Farside City?
In Starhaven.
Starhaven, okay. And that... Don't suppose you can tell me when that was.
That was a year and 11 months ago.
So, 1 month from now. Okay. This is... And how did she get captured?
In your words, she went to rescue that stupid boy she shouldn't have even cared about it anymore.
Oh, that's not something I've ever said out loud, so...
Out loud. That was an indoor thought.
So we had a jacket. Okay, so Ursa went to rescue her boyfriend. She got captured. Sometime later, the Starcon arrived and destroyed Starhaven. And now I'm here, still without the Moonstone, which means it's not in the pyramid?
No. What pyramid?
The pyramid that I was in 2 years ago, according to you, though you weren't there, though I suppose he would have told you about it afterwards? This is all very confusing, Watson. You need to work with me here. As she, like, puts her hands on the robot.
Perhaps we should just continue the mission, Your Highness.
Yeah, sure. What's the mission, then?
We're following Daedalus' trail.
Daedalus. Perhaps there's answers at the end of this, then.
That's what you cried about last night.
She will ignore that and then keep heading towards. Just keep moving forward. I guess pulling the clothing around herself tighter.
Excellent. You continue making your way through the snow-swept plains of Europa. So you get to the base of this mountain by itself, and sure enough, you do see one of these brass Pegasus ships that you've seen the Freedom League flying around in before. And it seems to be completely overcome with ice and snow.
So it's been here for some time. Any sign of someone leaving? Any path leading anywhere?
The boarding ramp is down, but you don't see a path leading away from the ship.
I don't know if this will work in this situation, but Mind Radar? I am prepared to give you a hero point to do as such.
You can keep it. You don't feel any mines nearby.
Watson, is Daedalus capable of blocking himself from telepathy?
Checking. That is an ability that his suit can bestow upon him if he is wearing the right suit.
Are you able to track his suit?
Yes.
Can you find it here?
It is aboard the Pegasus.
Do you sense him aboard there as well, or just the suit?
Just the suit.
Can you sense him anywhere?
No.
Okay. So there's like that mountain up ahead?
Mm-hmm.
Seem like there's any sort of cave or tunnel in it?
It doesn't look like it.
Then I'll see if I can get onto the ship.
Yeah, the door's open, so it's easy to get in. There's a lot of snow on the in the airlock ramp, but you're able to make your way up. Sure enough, you do see the Daedalus armor is powered off, sitting in an alcove at the edge of the cargo bay. There's also, looks like a couple of different pieces of equipment from a couple of different Freedom League members. You see a quiver and a bow, and you see a white cape that is left on the side of the road, or it's hung up nearby.
What happened to the Earth heroes?
Unknown.
Is the Daedalus suit empty?
The Daedalus suit is empty.
She's just going to keep moving through the ship until she can find some sign of life.
You make your way up to the cockpit where you see there's no sign of life, but there is one console that is still blinking with a red light.
She'll brush any dust or snow off of it, see what it's beeping about.
If you press it, you see a holographic image of Daedalus pop up. And you see he sort of looks concerned. He says, I brought in a couple of members of the Freedom League to assist with this search. There's something wrong with the robots of Starhaven. I've been in touch with an educator named Valerius Cornu, and the two of us have been doing research about a virus that seems to be affecting the robots we're turning back on. I found a clue in the Tower of Nightmares that's led me to this mountain. A robot stole half of the Moonstone, and I think this is where the robot took it. This is a tomb, the resting place of the preserver that founded Starhaven, an entity known only as the Prophet. Bowman and Centuria were kind enough to join me on this expedition, but I don't know how much I can tell them about what's going on. However, Alara, before you can investigate too much further, the ground begins to rumble around you. And a number of these sort of sharp, angular crystalline spiders erupt from the ground, and they swarm over the ship and devour everything inside whole, including you.
No.
And you said you weren't going to swallow anyone tonight.
I told you it was a lie.
I played myself, Alex.
Her last thought is of her sister as she is swallowed by spiders.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Ooh,
Chimera.
He's going all quantum black by you, people with spiders.
That's a good adventure. Shout out to Trouble in Paradise. Chimera. The dizzying silver of the mirrors gives way as you sort of make your way out of the doorway that has launched you out. And it gives way to blazing sunlight that warms your face. And you can feel blades of wet grass between your toes. And you can hear the chirping of birds and the passing of cars. You seem to be standing in a courtyard of some description. It's kind of a bed of grass surrounded by a palisade or a fence made of 4-foot tall white wood with sharp pickets on the top. And you're wearing a leather glove with wide set fingers.
One leather glove?
One leather glove.
Curious.
When you say curious, a small white ball hits you in the head.
A wire ball?
A small white ball hits you in the head.
Oh, a small white ball.
Red
And
stitching?
It does have red stitching. And a little girl giggles and says, "Daddy, you have to do better for our last game of catch for a while."
I'll look around to see if I can see the owner of this voice.
Yeah, there's a little human girl with a dark ponytail and dirt on her face, wearing an Aegis t-shirt and a cap. She looks fierce and familiar.
Familiar?
Yeah, something stirs inside you. Not the grim voice you've been hearing, but almost like the LaCroix version of pain.
What?
Sort of like
What
if
is that?
somebody put a pineapple next to a glass of water and called it pineapple water.
Okay. I mean,
Sort of the thing, but not really the
it's
thing.
no maple
Yeah.
syrup on sandpaper, but all right.
Somebody ate a grape yesterday and spit in your water.
Okay. See, this went from obtuse to disgusting. All right, so I think perhaps you have me mistaken for someone else.
Don't be silly, Daddy. We're playing catch, remember? Throw back.
All right, I guess I will pick the white ball up.
And she raises her own leather glove up.
Look at it. Throw it to her. Probably awkwardly.
And she'll catch it. She looks back at you and she throws it back at you.
Okay, I guess I will try to catch it with the glove.
Yeah, it's a little rough, but it's almost like your body is able to do the motion more than your brain does.
Curious.
She says, "Where are you going again?"
I do not know.
That's not what you said last time. Yesterday you said you could tell me, but then you'd have to kill me.
That seems an inappropriate non sequitur.
Are you feeling okay?
No, I am experiencing a strange emotional response.
I'm going to miss you too. And you see an Earth vehicle parks in front of the house. It's a black SUV. I'm not going to explain it as a dumb scientific way.
Nondescript vehicle.
Yeah, and a couple of guys dressed in black clothing look at you and they sort of nod. It's time, sir.
Indeed it is. So I'll take the glove off and walk that way.
You're not even going to say goodbye?
If your input is correct, this has already occurred, and a goodbye would be redundant.
And she kind of, she doesn't know how to respond to that other than to disintegrate into white light.
As I suspect.
And the cars and the whole scene will sort of disintegrate, and you find yourself standing in a room with Alara.
So does your midweek planning sessions revolve around what ways can we cause the chat to have a breakdown of whatever ridiculous thing Chimera is saying this week? Like, now we got abandonment issues going on.
I don't often consider fun when planning these things. But this brings a smile to my face.
It does. Yes, it does.
Ways to mentally torment the players. Number 1.
Or the chat. Or C, all the above.
Aelin.
Yes.
As you go making your way through the hallway and through the door, you notice that the other two voices in your head are completely silent as you come through the door. It almost feels like they're isolated from you, sort of stuck behind some kind of inky black wall. And you get the sensation that you are now the ultimate stray, alone in a universe whose silence is so crushing as to be suffocating. You find yourself sort of sitting in it almost looks like a display case. There's a glittering blue force field in front of you, a chaise lounge that's laid out for you. There's a couple of different, almost looks like Kong toys, like these sort of rubber toys that seem to be filled with some kind of loose peanut butter substance in space. And you are thoroughly alone.
She'll take a look around, but she is definitely hugging her shoulders with her arms, with her hands, basically like very, very turning inwards. Her ears are down. Her tails are kind of foofed a bit as she's looking around, and she's very, very confused.
You notice that all three tails have the same color fur now as well.
And she lets go of her shoulders. She grabs the tails, and she starts to cry.
A small blue robot buzzes up to the edge of the display case that you're in and knocks on the glass.
And she'll shoot it a look.
Are you experiencing an emotional response?
What does it look like to you?
I have not been gifted with the ability to judge.
Then how did you arrive here?
How would you grade your pain on a scale of 1 to 10?
Agonizing.
But if agonizing was a number, would it be like 6?
Math. We're sticking with math.
7?
Why are numbers so important? You know the definition of the word.
My maker has instructed me to keep an accurate timeline of your emotional state. Perhaps it would be easier if I showed you a number of Arcanthian faces in various states of displeasure, and you could tell me to stop when I find the right one.
No.
How would you like to
Why?
proceed?
By ripping off the head of the one that put me here. And she actually, she says me, and she kind of closets up like, wait a second.
Curious, you have begun to devolve from your pluralism finally. And it takes a couple of notes on the clipboard.
Leave us alone.
I need to collect the data. 1 to 10.
She'll turn from the glass.
I'm going to write down 8 so you've got room to grow, okay?
And she just kind of starts sobbing again, kind of holding herself even closer.
Okay, maybe 9. And it writes down a 9 and it buzzes away. And you hear a voice come over a loudspeaker. That was the most progress you've had in the last couple of days, Aelin.
What do you mean, progress?
You've been in a practically catatonic state since we brought you aboard.
Where are we?
You are in the last place of the universe that supports life.
Why am I behind glass?
Because you are unique. Just like every other member of my collection.
I'm not an animal.
All of you are animals. Even those of you that have feelings and emotions.
You are the reason we are here?
Yes. I am the reason you are alive. And I am the reason you are alone.
We do not thank you for that.
Well, you are more valuable to me if you are an individual.
That seems redundant. If this is the only place that supports life and left in the universe, then there's nothing else. Therefore, my worth is nothing.
You have great intrinsic value to me.
Why?
It is my prime directive. To be the sole owner of things. Perhaps you would like to come up to the bridge so we can have a conversation.
You might not like that.
I don't like anything. Other than a job well done.
Then that's something.
And you see the display glass opens for you.
And she'll tentatively stand up and kind of slowly work her way towards it.
And the little blue robot will come back out to the display glass and say, "It appears that my master would like to speak with you."
More that he wants to parade me in front of him.
Oh, he can see you here now.
And he can speak to us now as well. So he wants us in front of him.
Not us, just you. I will not be accompanying you.
Won't you?
I'll
Because
be leading you there.
We don't... Robots.
But I will not be granted an audience with the master. Come. And he just starts floating away.
She'll follow after.
And you get led through this sort of twisting labyrinth of a ship. You see a bunch of display cases that have a number of, this is the last surviving human, this is the last surviving lore, this is the last surviving dragon, all sorts of stuff as you're making your way through.
And there are people and other creatures behind the glass.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll kind of put her hand out and basically like drag it across the glass. And like in every one that she looks into, she's giving it this kind of like sad, oh my gosh, like we're all prisoners here.
But hey, I think we have our next episode title. Through the Glass by Stone Sour. Here we go.
Yeah, you do see as you're making your way through the humans that are inside. The human that is inside seems like a very grumpy, you would say middle-aged man, kind of dark silver hair with an eye patch. Scruffy beard.
White jumpsuit?
White jumpsuit, salmon ladder for his enrichment activity.
Okay.
His bowman again.
Not what I expected. Thought you'd be the first to go.
Bowman's the sole survivor.
Just be funnier if it was not the Bowman we all expected it to be.
It's Jason again.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Spoiler alert.
Awesome. So you make your way up to the bridge, the doors open, and there's this tall robot with sort of a gold chrome face, kind of a green circuitry-based body with a large window looking out over the universe.
Well, we are here now. What more gloating can you do?
Please step over here by the window. There's something I want you to see.
She'll eye him very warily as she walks up.
And he kind of looks at you. Says, there's something the Preservers created to make my job complete. And I wanted to share this moment with you.
Are you destroying the universe so that your little collection cannot grow?
He points, and across the field of stars, you see stars are starting to blink out.
And she'll put both of her hands over her mouth, and her eyes go wide, and she looks back up at him. Of course you are.
My collection is not valueless. This is an arc. Your genetic material will be used to remake the universe once this destruction is over. Collapsar is coming.
What is Collapsar?
Before he can answer that question, the ship is rocked with horrible gravitational energy and everything is ripped apart and sucked in.
Ah!
And you wake up in a dark room with Alara and Chimera.
She'll look up at them and then just kind of hold her shoulders and pull her face into her chest and just start crying.
Are you distressed, mistress?
We are.
What can we do to alleviate your emotional disturbance?
We don't know. Give us a little bit.
Deuce, you're killing me. And I know we're running low on time, but is it okay if I run to the bathroom real quick so we can get through Flynn and Ursa?
Yes.
Sure.
Go.
Sorry.
Yes, because I also have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, good. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Time
We'll
out,
talk
guys.
amongst ourselves.
Yes.
This is getting out of hand now.
Chimera, Aelin, and Alara talk to each other.
I mean, Alara's just looking for her sister.
And Aylin's sitting there crying on the floor, and you're just like, I don't care.
No, she cares. What is going on? Did you see a vision as well? Did you see the mountain and the snow and Watson and the ship and the armor?
It would seem our experiences were unique before we arrived at this place.
We saw the end of everything.
Curious.
We were told Collapsar is coming. We had been taken, separated somehow. We were one. It was weird. Some robot had us behind glass, one of every species. He took us up to the bridge as the stars winked out, telling us we were an ark. We would have our genetic material repopulate the universe after.
From a single individual of each species. This doesn't seem scientifically viable from a standpoint of genetic variation.
We would agree with you if we had thought about it other than we were out of sorts. We've never been alone. It was very, very disconcerting. You saw, and she looks up at Alara. You saw a ship?
Yes, I was looking for Daedalus. Trying to find him out in the snows around Europa. Starhaven was destroyed, and Ursa was dead. And I thought maybe this was some vision of the future, perhaps. But you're saying you saw something different.
We all seem to have seen something different. But did you not say things that may yet come to pass?
Maybe that's what that is, but where are the others?
Meanwhile, Flynn, you slip through the door and into the cockpit of the Marion as you are rocketing through the Sol system, with your ship very much on fire.
No!
The console in front of you is sparking, and the ship is sputtering through the vacuum of space.
The ship is on fire.
The crew is dead on the floor around you, blasted apart by lasers or full of shrapnel. You know...
Chimera doesn't look much different.
All that fiberglass.
The one thing you know for sure, Flynn, is that you need to get word to Starhaven that the StarCon is coming.
And I'm trying my best to navigate the ship and get the hell to Starhaven.
Awesome. Go ahead and give me a vehicles check.
Um, 11.
You're cruising. You're rocketing through. You're opening hailing channels. You're trying to get a hold of somebody at Starhaven, and you do come into view of the planet. You see Europa, and as you're coming upon Europa, a massive blue energy beam flies past the Marion, slams into Europa, and destroys it. And the engines putter off on the Marion, and you find yourself caught in a tractor beam.
I'm doing my best. Grab my gear, grab a gun. Prepare to repel boarders.
Excellent. So you're preparing to repel boarders. The ship is pulled up into some larger Imperium ship, and the boarding ramp, you see the torchlight cut around the door frame and blow the door open, and there is a massive woman with flowing red hair, gray skin, and these sort of big augmented gauntlets on her hands and slams them together. She says, "I've been waiting for this a long time, Flynn."
Well, have at it. And I draw my rapier and I attack.
Awesome. You put up a pretty valiant defense. You have no idea who this woman is, why she's got this personal grudge against you. But she comes in, she starts slamming fists into the hull of the Marion, making dents as you're sort of dexterously avoiding her attacks, until she gets a lucky hit in. She hits you right in the sternum, and you fly back into the console. And she stalks forward, and she puts a hand on your head, and she begins to squeeze.
I'm of course trying to get free and feeling miserably, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she says that the Blood Ravagers send their regards. And she squishes your head like a melon. Ah! And you wake up in a room with the other four.
The three of us are already conscious. Do we see him suddenly appear?
You do. You see sort of the air sort of ripple and scintillate like it's made out of the same mirror material, and it ripples through as he appears in front of you with a sound like cracking glass.
Curious. You're not arriving simultaneously, even though we departed simultaneously.
Captain, are you all right?
I'm shaking my head. That was most unpleasant.
Did you see the future as well?
I wouldn't say a future. There wasn't a lot of anything left. Saw your rope get blasted to smithereens, and yeah.
You didn't see the end of the universe, at the least. And she'll kind of pull herself in even tighter again.
Speaking of the end of the universe, Ursa, as you sort of materialize on the other side of the door, your vision is unique because unlike the other ones, you are not an active participant in it. You seem to be witnessing something.
Because you've been swallowed. You're inside the belly.
It's almost like you don't have a body. You have sort of this weightless, almost like a camera that you're seeing everything through, that you can move around this space. And it looks like you're floating on a balcony overlooking Starhaven. And based on the location relative to other landmarks, you think you might be in Preserver Hall, which is sort of the palace of Starhaven. It's a very well-appointed room with sort of luxurious blue silk sheets. There's a slight familiar smell of home, as you smell a couple of candles burning that definitely come from Luna. There's a well-appointed bed, there's a desk, and sitting at the vanity in this room, you can see Astaria, the third twin. Looks like she's running a brush through her hair and humming a lullaby that you remember your mom humming to you.
Can I interact with things?
You could try.
I'm going to try to throw the candle at her.
You sort of...
That's our...
Mm-hmm. I am the attacker.
You reach out to exert your will, and it doesn't seem to have any effect on the environment.
I'm going to try to say something.
What are you going to say?
Hey. Just hey. Start with hey.
She doesn't seem to notice you.
I'm going to start screaming profanities at her. Lunar profanity.
As you're screaming lunar profanities at her, Zoth walks into the room.
I'm going to try to throw a candle at him.
He's also got a couple of the blue armored guards with him, including Eric. And Zoth walks in and he says, Staria, we need to talk. One of the Earth heroes seems to have found the Moonstone, but it's still somewhere here on Europa. I'm going to send the commandos to focus on sweeping the areas this Daedalus character went to find his trail before the stone is destroyed or lost again. And she kind of just looks at him with sort of a spacey look on her face and nods and keeps humming this lullaby to herself. And you notice he kind of goes roughly over to her and shakes her. He says, I need you to focus, okay? You can't drift off like that, or I will correct you. Lady Celine's only just willing to attempt diplomacy with these animals. And if these efforts fail, the invasion will be swift. Nastaria sort of looks at him and she waves a hand and the telekinesis pulls him back away from her. And she says, I don't care about that right now. I felt them at the starport. My sisters, I felt them. You told me they were all dead. And as she says that, Ursa, she seems to make eye contact with you.
Ursa is giving her a very grumpy look. She'll raise her eyebrow.
Zoth, you're boring me. I need to focus on finding them. I need to talk to them about what happened, about Mother, about Auntie Celine. If you put your hands on me again, I will fold you into a pretzel.
Yes.
Nah.
And he kind of gruffly adjusts his uniform and says, we don't have time for this, okay? Our focus needs to be on the Moonstone. I'll see you in the morning for this mixer with that deplorable console woman. And Zoth leaves. Eric stays behind, and Astaria sort of raises a hand and silently seems to communicate with him telepathically. And he walks over robotically to her vanity and kind of stands there. Ursa, give me an insight check.
$11. And I got a hero point. It's literally 10:06, so. Well. 25. Much better.
His body language is very stiff and puppeted and not any way you remember it being. And he stands there sort of straining as he's approached the vanity. And she stands up and she goes to give him a kiss, but you quietly hear him whisper, "Please don't," as a tear drops down his cheek. And you wake up back in the room with the other 4 people.
Carissa just has a very puzzled look on her face as she materializes.
Ursa.
Laura, yes, hi. Oh, hello everyone. Everyone okay? Everybody in one piece?
In one piece, yes. Okay. Not as much, as she looks over in Aylin's direction.
Yep. Still hugging herself, still trying to, at this point, probably fight back and not be sobbing any longer.
Aylin, darling, are you okay? She'll go over and she'll wrap her arm around you.
And she'll grab you in a hug. We were alone.
Hey, you're not alone now. Don't worry about it. We're okay. We're all here together. She'll pull Alara over to join the hug.
Alara will join with much less resistance than she usually gives.
And she'll eye Flynn and Chimera. Like, come on.
Is this helping?
Yes.
Very well.
Flynn,
hug.
Flynn, are you going to join the group hug?
Sure.
I wasn't
Group
expecting
hug, one
Chimera
more.
to join the group hug. And as you're all sort of group hugging, you hear a voice resonate through the space that you're in. And he says, I have seen a lot of facets passing through the prism in my time, but I have never seen so much chaos and destruction in one collection of visions. You preserver descendants are dangerous.
Curious, I saw no destruction in my vision.
You do not know what destruction you've witnessed in your vision.
I assume that it's metaphorical in nature.
I hope at some point you can remember what happened to you. Further testing is required, and you hear the glass sort of cracking and breaking around you, and as you are shuttled off into another part of Hansha's dungeon, I think that's going to be a good place for us to call it an evening.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
What happened to the rescued rangers? What happened to Chip and Dirk, rescued rangers?
The rescued rangers.
Kavon throws off the song.
I'm gonna feel really bad if they died and we force them to come in.
I'm not.
Guardians of Haven's going to be a lighter tone.
Yeah.
I'm coming to the next game with clown makeup on.
That's appropriate. The death toll will only be 3 or 4 million, as opposed to untold trillions.
Well, you know, it's like that sometimes.
Well, I mean, it's still the whole universe.
But it's not the multiverse. That's a step down, in my opinion.
I mean, you know, Charles Manson killed a lot less people than Joseph Stalin. He's an okay guy.
Numerically.
Charles Manson killed like 0 people.
I don't know. I don't know that we can say he killed 0 people.
He had minions for that.
Yeah.
I don't know that Stalin did a lot of trigger work himself either.
I don't think Stalin did 0 trigger work, though. That's the difference.
Oh my god.
I love that you're arguing the semantics of this.
What is happening?
You know, I've been accused of a lot of dark things in my time as a GM.
Accused implies it's not true.
I never thought I'd have to argue am I a Charles Manson or a Stalin GM, but here we are.
You're both of them. That's the whole thing.
Oh! And you thought I was the one who was critical.
Uh-oh, here comes Lucifer the GM again to ruin our lives.
No, not ours, just the characters.
You all had a good time. I don't want to hear it. So, yeah, next week we'll be rejoining our heroes for the light, happy-go-lucky tone of Starhaven.
Yeah, check out our light and happy theme music.
Starhaven won't be dark like Nether War.
It'll be dark different. Announcements around the channel. Tomorrow night we will be back with City of Destiny. Hopefully Ethan is done being the drama bus, traveling around to everybody with hard conversations to be had. I know I still had 2 left I had to do at the end of last week's session, so we'll see how that plays out. Wednesday, I'll let Calvin talk about Wednesday. Thursday, we have a new blog post going up. Friday, our new episodes from YouTube will be available on our website, untoldstoriesproject.com. And next Monday, we will be back here again, same bat time, same bat channel, for more Starhaven. I'm going to give everybody a chance to plug anything they want to plug and say goodnight. Starting with Kevin.
All right,
you should start with Calvin.
Yeah, start with Calvin.
Starting with Calvin.
Sure, okay, I guess. Well, I'm Calvin, been playing Alara and hoping this is the Darkest Before the Dawn part. And I hope Chip and Dirk survive because I already gave them a theme song. The third guy I'm on the fence about. So as was hinted at and implied, there is a thing happening on Wednesday. I'm doing a 2-part one-shot of the Lancer Mech RPG. Not sure what else to say. I made a bunch of characters that are full of JoJo references, but hopefully they're fun and cool, and hopefully the game is fun and cool. So be sure to check it out Wednesday, same usual time, 7 p.m. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it specifically, but that's what's going on Wednesday. And I don't know where to pass it to.
I'll take over. I'll take it here from here.
Okay.
And the reason that I had Calvin go first was because I wanted him to do that, because then I could say, yes, I am also going to be back on Wednesday for said Lancer game, which I think is going to be a great amount of fun. You can also find me again on our website for blog posts. You can find me over on our YouTube channel for Storyforge episodes. So, yeah. Thank everyone for coming out tonight and spending their evening with us, even if we did run a little bit long. And with that, I will pass it over to Kat.
Hey, so I will not be back on Wednesday, but my favorite human and fiance will be. So if you want to see some Brian shenanigans, I'm so sorry, Calvin.
Oh, no.
Come back on Wednesday.
I hope he brings an onion again.
There are no onions in our house today. There will not be any on Wednesday. But yeah, so come back and see that, and thank you guys for watching. I guess I will pass it up to Jonesy.
Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. Had a great time playing Flynn as always. I will not be back here later this week. I'm up to my eyeballs in prepping for Gen Con and writing adventures for that. So with that, by all means, if you like what we're doing, share with your friends, do all the fun, if you're watching this on video on demand, do all the fun YouTube things like share, subscribe. With that, I will kick it over to Kevin.
Okay, well, I mean, what's to be said? Come back, see more stuff. Yeah, so, and then of course, then you have a couple days to relax over the weekend and see how we can possibly darken up the cheerful, shiny, pastel-colored place that is Starhaven. Over to you, Alex.
Then I'm a monster. Have a great night.
They've been following us for any period of time. They know that.
We'll see you next week. Make good choices.